morning. Want to welcome back our part of our Leon Guerrero family. Thank God that they made it back from Hawaii. Thank God they made it to Hawaii first and foremost, because it's not a cheap trip. So thank God they made it to Hawaii. So we're grateful for them being back here with us. We want to welcome you all who are going to be watching us on YouTube. We're so grateful to have you with us. We know that God's going to do something powerful in your lives, just as He's going to do something powerful in the lives of those who are here with us in the service. So few announcements as always. We do have we are still having Thursday night Bible study. We are still in the book of John, and we are actually getting ready to finish the book of John, and then we're going to go to a dynamic study on Abraham and his life, and kind of just the work and kind of some of his walk. So be prepared for that as we finish John. We know what time it is in this season, in this year. School is back in. Yay!
That's why we came back.
School is back in. Our young men, our young women, they're going back to school. They're going back, either going back into elementary or in the middle school or high school, or even going into college. And we're so grateful for those that are going to be going to school, and thankful for our teachers because without our teachers, our kids wouldn't learn, because we as parents sometimes are inept and incapable of teaching them what they need to learn. So we are thankful for school going back in. That means there are less kids on the streets while I am driving. Thank you, Jesus. Also, so we're gonna pray for our kids at the end of the service. We're gonna pray for all the kids at the end of the service as they go for school, and we want to pray a blessing over our teachers also. I believe it's not next Sunday, but the following Sunday, which will be our fourth Sunday, I believe, in April, August. Let me think. Hold on. Give me half a second. Got to get the brain. Got to get not next Sunday. The next Sunday after that. So the fourth Sunday in August, we're gonna be down at Minister Andy, our sales house, and we believe that he's going to deliver a powerful word to us, because we want to be because I know he's been itching for something. He's got something he's been holding on. So we're excited for that. So please, if you can, we're going to be out. We actually are going to be outside. So hey. We're going to be doing it Jesus style down at his house. So be prepared for that. And it's the fourth Sunday again. So are we ready for the word?
Yeah.
Amen. In the 15th chapter of Genesis, starting with the first verse, is where we find our text today. And as always, as our custom is, we stand for the reading of the word. I know I can't see you on YouTube. I know I'm not physically there in front of you, but if you have it, go ahead and please stand for the reading of the word. Genesis 15, starting with verse 1. And it says, "After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, 'Do not be afraid, Abram, I am your shield, your exceedingly great reward.' But Abram said, 'Lord God, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus?' Then Abram said, 'Look, you have given me no offspring. Indeed, one born in my house is my heir.' And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, 'This one shall not be your heir, but one who will come from your own body shall be your heir.' Then he brought him outside and said, 'Look now toward heaven and count the stars, if you are able to number them.' And he said to him, 'So shall your descendants be.' And he believed the Lord, and he accounted it to him for righteousness. Then he said to him, 'I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to inherit.'" May God have blessing to the hearing, reading, and doing of his word. Father God, I just pray right now over your people and over this word. And I ask and pray to God that you would just give to your people this word as you've given it to me, and that they would receive it, Father God, as I have received it. Father, I pray right now that you would just use this broken vessel, use this man, use your servant to speak your word. Speak through your man, speak through your servant. and remove this man, that the man would not be glorified or edified or honored, but that you, Father, will be glorified, honored, and edified. God, I just thank you for what you're getting ready to do today. It's with this that we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Maybe she's at this time. So we are still talking on the subject travel, travail, promise, which is our Abraham subject, and we happen to find ourselves in a portion of the chapter of his story, and we've titled this particular portion, "What About Me?" Because that's a question that we always like we like to ask sometimes, is what about me? What about mine? What about what's going to happen for me? What's going to happen with me? What about me? And oftentimes you don't always get an answer for that question. It's kind of a question that's where God is silent a lot when it comes to the what about me. But He always is in the answering mode. He may be silent for a moment, but He's always in the answering mode. And we like to say this one thing: delayed but not denied. And you may not hear it right now. You may not hear Him speak on what you're wanting to speak on, but it's just a delay, but you're not denied, because the Bible clearly tells us that we are to ask, to seek, and to knock. We're to ask, to seek, and to knock. And as long as you keep asking, you keep seeking, you keep knocking, there's going to be an answer somewhere, somehow. So you are delayed, not denied. So when the question arises, what about me, in your heart and in your spirit, you can know and you can trust and you can believe and you can be encouraged that God is just telling you, if He has not spoken yet, He's not saying no. He's just saying, wait, let me answer, not in your time, but in my time. And the thought process about that title comes from this text, because I'm looking at Abram's life, not Abraham yet. We're looking at Abram at this moment, and Abram was given two specific words by God. In the beginning, He said, "I will make you a great nation." That's the first word. When Lot left his side, He said, "I will cause your descendants to be a great nation." And in the beginning it was, "I will bless all the nations through you." So now he's going to be a great nation. Through him, all the nations of the earth are going to be blessed. And now he's going to have descendants. Descendants is something that comes through you physically. And this really is the first time when God is kind of giving him an idea and a picture of what's getting ready to take place. So Abram now is in this point, and he's asking God. Let's go. Let's do this first. First, the word comes to Abram again. It says, "You know what, Abram? I am your shield." First and foremost, I'm your shield. First and foremost, God is our shield. He is our ultimate protector. No matter how strong I am, no matter how good I am at watching the house, no matter how good I am at watching the streets, God is ultimately my protector. There is nothing that I could do that could stop some of the things that the enemy is doing behind my back that I cannot see without God doing it for me. And right now, and it's kind of funny because right now here on the island of Guam, we have an imminent threat of a nuclear missile coming to this island. Well, I'm on the island. My grandson is on the island. My daughter's on the island. The people that I love are on the island. And I really don't want a nuclear attack coming to this island. I mean, there's really, wherever it lands, you're within 100 miles of it. There's no place on the island where we are not within 100 miles of the missile attack. The island at its longest point is 36.75 miles long. That really ain't long. I can do 30 miles in Houston, going from my mother's house to my grandmother's house. That's not far. 36 miles is not a long way. At its most narrow, at its narrowest point, it's 12 point I think 12.25 or 12.18 miles wide at its narrowest point. So it's not like we got a lot of space to work around. Okay. But even though that there is an imminent threat, God ultimately is our shield. And what an encouragement to give to Abraham at a time when he is walking through a land with the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, the Hivites, the Amorites. He's walking through a land with all sorts of giants and enemies. For God to tell him, I am your shield. But not only am I your shield, but I am your exceeding great reward. Wow. The ultimate protector, the ultimate provider. I got your back, and because I got your back, I'm going to make sure that wherever you go, you don't have to worry about anything. I've got you. I'm going to take care of your food, your water, your shelter, your clothing. I'm going to take care of providing for everything that you need. Now, all your needs are met, and that's just great. That's just good. But I am your exceeding great reward. So that not only am I going to provide for your needs, but I'm going to make it substantial. I'm going to do some overflow things with your needs where you won't have to worry about taking care of anybody or anything. This is what Abraham is told before Abraham gets to say, what about me? Because that's the lonely question, is what about me? You know, I watched my little brother have a son, but you know, he died. I watched my daddy have children, and he died, but they lived. I'm watching people, my servants have kids, and I don't have one of my own. And in the day and time that Abram lives in, if you have kids, if you don't have your own kids, then your chief servant, the man, your right-hand man, if he got kids, what you have passed down to his kids. And let me tell you, as a father, and as a man, I don't want to give to any other man's son what should be going to my son or my daughters. Because for some unfortunate reason, I don't have someone who would take over, let's just say my business, or someone who would take over the land, or someone who would take over the opportunities that have been given to me. I don't want to give to somebody something because I don't have. And Abram finds himself in a place where he doesn't have the right person to give his inheritance to. But let me back up for a half second, because I wrote something down that I really think that is very powerful here, and I really want to just give before I go too far. It says, God is the ultimate encourager. We talked about him being our protector, our great protector. We talked about him being our great provider, but really, he is the ultimate encourager. There's no one who can encourage me like God. There's no one who can lift me out the dumps like God. I want to share this, and I want you to see this as he lifts Abram out the dust. I want you to go down to verse 4. It says, "And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, This one shall not be your heir." That's encouraging. That's encouraging. That lets me know that what I don't have, God is going to make provision for, because he's telling me that the one in my house, the one that's coming from, that one that's born in my house, will not inherit what I have. And then God goes on further and tells him, you know what? From within you is going to come an heir. Wow. Wow. What an encouragement. You know, and sometimes we just need to be encouraged. We need to know that God is going to encourage us in our dark and dry times. And God is going to encourage us in times when the question is, what about me? God is always in the business of speaking, and always in the business of wanting to give to us what we physically and spiritually lack. And he's always there to receive. He's always there to give us a word when we're in that stage, and then when it's, what about me? Why is this so hard? Why can't I do it right? Why don't I have this? Why can't I go there? What about me? They won't be your heir. It's not going to last that long. It's about you're at the end of this. You're coming through this. I'm just trying to build your strength. I'm just giving you some muscle. You're going to finish strong. This is not going to take you out. I love how God encourages us. Even so much, I mean, I really love it, because when you look at what Jesus does in the New Testament or in the New Covenant, especially when it comes to Lazarus tells all his disciples that this sickness will not end in death, and Lazarus dies. That's crazy. This sickness will not end in death, but Lazarus dies physically. But the sickness, the death was not a death that could not be overcome. The death was a death that was meant so that it could be overcome. That's the encouragement. The trial that we face is not going to last. It's not going to finish us off. What you are in need of, you will receive. God is always there to encourage us with His Word.
Amen.
Thank God for His Word. It's His Word that gives us hope. It's His Word that gives us strength. It's His Word that gives us the ability to trust. It's His Word. And Abram is only living off right now the Word of God, because he does not have an heir. His concern is that Eliezer's sons are going to be his heir, but he is told by God that no, this is not going to happen. You are not going to face this. You are not going to give what I have given to you to somebody who is not part of your seed. You will have an heir. Now I want to pause for a second, because, as we know, Sarai, Abram's wife, can't have no kids. She can't have no kids. There ain't no. I mean, it's not that her eggs are dried up. They just ain't there. Just talking to some folks who have had some trouble with conceiving kids and having to go through all the processes that they would have to go through. It don't seem like a very fun time to go to the fertility clinic, because the fertility clinic really never gives you any good news. They always give you news that you really might not want to hear. Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, well, hey, I'm good, but you bad, okay? And I'm sure that if there was a fertility clinic during that day and during that time, Abram would have went to the fertility clinic and been like, hey, yo, doc, me and my wife, we're trying to have kids. We ain't had no kids yet. I don't know how we're going to do this, but just let me know if there's any issues. And they would have went through all the tests that you're supposed to go through. And Abram would have found out, hey, you know what? You're good, but Sarai's not. And then he hears God saying, I'm going to bring an heir through you. And immediately his mind goes, how you going to do this when my wife is barren? She can't have no kids. It's not that her eggs are dried up. She just ain't got no eggs. There's nothing being produced in her body for her to give birth. So I don't know what this is going to be. And Eliezer has sons. What about me? And the word says, you will have an heir. So I wrote something else down, and I really want you to put this point into your spirit. I want you to get this really just deep inside your spirit. Okay? This is your request is legitimate. Your request is legitimate. Sometimes we ask things of God and we don't believe that we deserve what we're asking. Sometimes we ask things of God and we don't believe that He will come through in that situation for us. Sometimes we ask things of God and we go, man, how can it be? Sometimes we ask things of God, and we're asking, and we're asking, and we ask once, we don't see it, and that's enough of the asking. But your request is legitimate. Abram had a legitimate request. I have no son. How's it going to be? How can I have descendants with no heir? How can you say I'm going to be this with no heir? And God says I'm going to give an heir to you. So let's couple this, that your request is legitimate, with another point. It's coming through you. Your request is legitimate, and it's going to actually come through you. It's going to come through. It's not going to come through your servant. It's not going to come through your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister. It's going to come through you because you have been asking. You have been seeking. You have been knocking. You have been persistent, and you have been diligent in trusting the word of God. Because your request is legitimate. Imagine the Israelites when they were trapped in Egypt. Had they would have stopped requesting for God to give them freedom, if they would have stopped requesting for God to allow them to have some peace, imagine if they would have just quit. We would have no book of Joshua. The portion where Moses comes into the story in Genesis would have stopped right there in Genesis. We wouldn't have Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, or Deuteronomy. If they would have given up in the middle of that 400 trial. And I want to tell y'all something right now. If you continue to read down in verse 15. God promises Abraham that his descendants will be trapped in a foreign land for 400 years. It was a promise. He promised him heirs. He promised him descendants. He promised that he would make him a great nation. He promised that all the nations through him would be blessed. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you bless the children of Israel, you will be blessed. The United States is only blessed at this very point in time because they tithe to Israel, or they give an offering to Israel. Many presidents have tried to stop this tithe, but it continues to go forth. This offering continues to go forth, and we are still, as a nation, giving to Israel. And because we give to Israel, we are blessed as a nation. Abraham didn't get to see the word, but his descendants got to see the word. And because of Abram, nations are blessed that bless the nation of Israel. And it's because his request, it's all because of the request. He just asked. He asked, what about me? How am I going to do it? How is it going to happen through me? What about me? What about my sons? What about my daughters? Because I have none. My wife is barren. And I'm watching my servants have children. I'm asking you, what about me? His request is legitimate. Your request is legitimate. Keep asking. You keep asking till you get an answer. I know some men right now that have asked the woman that they love about 15 to 20 times, baby, I love you. Will you marry me? And she's told them, and every time they've asked, they've heard the word no. Every single time. And I think one of my friends asked this lady he said, I'm putting it in my mind. I'm not asking her after this last time. I'm just done. He asked her one more time, and she said yes. She didn't say yes the first time. She didn't say yes the second time. She didn't say yes the fifth time, the sixth time, the 12th time. But she finally said yes. Finally. And they got married, and I'm like, man, wow, it took you a while, but if you would have quit, then somebody else would be walking down the aisle with her. Things don't happen always as often as we like. Abram didn't get to see his son at the time when he was of age to play with him like he wanted to play with, to go into all the football games, the basketball games, and the baseball games, and the soccer games. He wasn't there. He wasn't physically able to do all that. But he finally had a son. But the son came after God gave him the word. How God is He is the ultimate encourager. And because his request was legitimate, it had to come through Abram. And there are a lot of things right now that we are waiting on, and we've been waiting on them to come through somebody else. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to come through you. God did not design your promise to come through somebody else. He designed it to come through you. He designed it specifically that it would that it would come from heaven direct through you, so that not your parents' seed would be blessed, but that your seed would be blessed. Yeah, your parents got their own promise. Your brothers, your cousins and them, your brothers and them, they got their own promise. They got their own stuff, and that's got to come through them. But your promise directly is coming through you. The word that God has spoken to you is not coming through your sister. It's coming through you. It's not coming through your brother. It's coming through you. It's not even coming through your pastor. It's coming through you. The only issue that we have is we stop asking. Because we don't see it the next day. We don't see it the next year. We don't see it the next 10 years. So we stop asking. 400 years the children of Israel were in captivity, under the bondage of Egypt. 400 years. Could you imagine waiting for 400 years for God to release a promise that He had given to your father? Could you imagine that? 400, and you're just waiting. When we getting out of this? 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 When we getting 400 years. I'm not even going to do the math on how many days it is. That's a long time. I can't even imagine what the days, the days must have, nights and days just probably just combined themselves together because of how much misery they were in. And then God answers. After 400 years. But it came through Abram that God was going to answer. Because God promised him that he would have an heir. And I told you read down this chapter a little bit, you'll see where God says, your descendants will be captive in a foreign land for 400 years. That's a long time. But the promise was given to Abram. The word was given to Abram. And because of Abram, because it came through Abram, the word manifested. Because it's coming through you, it's going to come to pass. It may not happen right now. It may not be your time to see it right now. You might be 99 when you see it. You might be beyond the time when you are prepared to take care of it. But you know what? It's going to come through you. And Abram, in his story, he says, the word says, and Abram believed. And Abram believed. And Abram believed. You should put your name there when God speaks a word to you. And Brian believed. And Ethan believed the word that God spoke. And Fina believed. And Bernice believed. And Rhythm believed. And Rain believed. And Mason believed. But they believed. And John believed the word. Because no matter how many times God speaks the word over our lives, all our job is to do is to believe. But it's hard to believe in something that you can't tangibly touch right now. It's hard to grasp hold. It's hard to hold on to something that you don't have. And I mean, I can speak a lot of words. I can give you a lot of things. I can say a lot of words to you. I can say a lot of words of encouragement to you. But if you don't believe the words that I'm speaking into you, those words mean nothing. God can speak a lot of things into your life. He can speak a lot of promises. Here's the difference. When I speak, it's going to fall to the ground. When God speaks, it never returns back to him void. When God speaks something over your life, he has intended for it to come to pass. When I speak something, it may go away. But when God speaks, it doesn't. It sticks and stays. The deal is, if you don't believe what God is telling you, it's not going to happen. Imagine Jairus when he confronted Jesus, and he was like, "Hey, my daughter's sick. Can you heal her?" And Jesus says, "You know what? Do you believe I can heal her?" And he goes, "Well, maybe." We'd be reading a different story about Jairus, his daughter. Imagine if the woman, if the man who was blind, seeking his sight, and Jesus said, when Jesus said, "Do you believe that I can do this?" If he'd have been like, "Maybe you can do it. You might be able to do it. Not real sure." We'd be telling a different story about this blind man. Even the man that was having trouble getting into the pool by himself. If at the request that Jesus made, "Do you believe that I can heal you?" If he'd have been like, "Maybe," we would talk a different story. The people who were hungry on the mountain, when Jesus got the 2 fish and the 5 loaves of bread, if he would have asked them, are you hungry? Do you want food to eat? And they would have been like, "Yeah, we want food to eat. We'll go buy some." And he'll say, "You know what? I can produce of this fish. I can produce enough food from right here, from what I've got. Do you believe that I can do it?" If they would have said, "Jesus, we don't know. We're unsure," we would not have the story of the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. Every time Jesus healed, touched, delivered, set free, whatever it was he did, when he asked if they believed that he could do it, they believe. The word says, and the people believed. Abraham at this point has no heir, has no children, and he is saying, and God is telling him that I'm going to give you an heir. And the Bible says that Abram believed. And because Abram believed, I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear this right out the word of God. It says,